Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. In the blue, the final boss. It's Dark. Up against the returning Terran in the red, we have Bunny. In a best-of-3 Terran versus Zerg showdown in the new StarCraft 2 balance patch, where Dark's barely controlled chaos will once again be put to the test. And the only predictable part of the early game builds will be me begging you for likes, and maybe even subscribes. And Jimmy, what are we at? Jimmy, one more. 1,494 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And while Dark still staves off his retirement, I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Then this drone, who is forced into the extractor as the Reaper stands by, immediately attempting to block. Dark does have speed on the way, so wasn't going straight for the 3 base, but this is mildly to moderately annoying. This is one of your socks is mildly damp, not stepped on a Lego sort of situation, but we're getting there as the Reaper forcing that drone. There's not another drone. The Zerglings are actually sent across the map, so Dark is prioritizing messing up Bunny's build more than executing his own. And the Queen trying to sneak up on the Reaper, not exactly the most likely of endeavors, but at the same time, the Zerglings, he'll lift the barracks, and that lets the Zerglings in. They're gonna fight in the shade, but already delaying the Hellions. The SCVs have to come down the ramp. The Reaper is halfway back across. Well, the Queen finally got the job done there, standing by the hatchery, making sure it's able to continue despite the intense joint pain the Queen suffers off of the creep. And the creep tumor starts things off, and we'll snap back to reality just for a moment. The third command center for Bunny will be actually quicker than Dark's third, as he was able to delay it quite significantly. But the Hellions will be a little slower than usual, as those Zerglings had a say in it. No, the Hellion Reaper on its way across. One Zergling gonna sneak back in. There's already a Marine, well, same Marine from earlier, ready to gun it down. And the Hellions just run right by, completely disrespectful, bounces one of the Queens out of the way. And the Reaper Hellion, not gonna get too many kills. Well, hopefully not gonna get too many. Third drone dead. Hellion trying to sneak another, not quite, as the Queen's and on the high ground. Get off my creep. Good job up there, Brenda. Oh, don't be patronizing. Did somebody say Patreon in the description? Oh. Starport. Cloak is on the way. Bunny gambles a little with that early Reaper Hellion. I think part of that is active scouting. It's Dark, and you don't want to be in the dark about what build he's going for. If there was a Roach Warren back there, or the drone count was particularly low, you can kind of get a gauge on how aggressive Dark is going to be. But there were plenty of drones. There was no more gas. It's clear Dark is going for a much more economical play, and I think Bunny's going to be quite confident in assessing that now. Dark at 50 drones already. Lair on the way, but double NG Bay, more barracks, and Stim to follow things up. Those early Hellions and Banshee will be able to zone out the smaller amounts of early Zerg, but obviously you need a lot more to deal with it as time goes on. And so far, no Roach Horn at all. He's going for the Baneling nest, so Dark angling towards the Massling Bane. Hellions getting up close and personal with the Queens, but they're not big on that sort of relationship. Meanwhile, the Banshee slowly but surely working its way through the attempted 4th hatchery. The lair is finished. There will be cloak momentarily, but there should also be detection moments after that. But actually using the creep drop in order to let the Queens move a little quicker and potentially transfuse. Bunny actually going for the hatch itself. And the cancel, the drone manages to dodge the shots, but committed to the hatchery and manages to take it out. So, moderate win there for Bunny. Very solid. And the fact that the Banshees still have good health and are able to kill some of the drones, so a lot of damage being done by these early Banshees, continuing to shark around. And the Queen, the Overseer, Susan, call the Overseer! They're back! They never really went anywhere. We just couldn't see them. Don't talk to me about object permanence later! I don't... Sorry. Banshees get away with murder. They delay the hatch another... Well, not even making the hatchery yet. And more than likely going to lose the drone. Able to take it out. The creep is spreading from every side, but... Honestly, Bunny, getting the jump on things, hopping off to a good start as an armory's halfway done, lined up perfectly with the 1-1 upgrades. Hydra is done for Dark as he adds on multiple hatcheries, just now starting to catch up in production. But hatcheries are not just economy. They are that production level. When you're going for a mass Ling Bane or even Hydralist composition, you need the larva. You simply can't match the Terran level of production. Look at the supply. 125 for Bunny, only 7 minutes in. As even though he got a small hiccup earlier, he has more than enough going on now to continue this pressure across. Actually throws some Hellbats into the mix with the leftover Hellions. 1-1 is done. Combat Shield isn't there yet. That's the only saving grace. Baneling speed and Zergling speed for Dark. Without Combat Shield, those Banelings are an existential threat. Is able to slurp up some of the Marines, but the Queens will try to throw the medevacs back. But if there's not enough Lings underneath, Dark trying to wait for the upgrades. He should be able to crush this, though. The entire Queen's Moot has gathered. Almost, well, 7 of them. More than enough to take out those medevacs. And Bunny trying to put on the pressure, but he's at very severe risk of overstaying his welcome. Which is impossible not to, because he wasn't welcome at all. Couple changelings biding their time out at the third. The Banshees are back. The Banshees so far the most successful part of Bunny's build and continue to be so. A single Queen sounding the alarm. Infestation Pit is on the way. The Queen! Oh, he didn't have to get so close to do so, but a transfuse. And the Overseer coming in, but that means the Queens are dragged to the south side. And Bunny is able to attack in the north. He knocks out the creep tumors and has a good position with a siege tank on the back line. He's already working towards those 2-2 upgrades, and Dark can't really afford to lose this base. He needs the production right now in order to keep up with a 3+ base Terran. He's just got Lings and Banes, but he's thrown a few Hydras into the mix. And he's got 5 or 6 of them now. No Lurker Den yet as the Hive starts. And Bunny still maintaining such a huge amount of supply. The siege tank retargets onto the Banelings. They're off the creep. And Bunny, not quite confident in his target fire, will pick up and get out after the siege tank is taken down. Now expanding to the center base. Another army headed south. And the hatchery's already been softened up. Guns down a Queen. Widowmine's getting involved. But the Widowmine cuts both ways and explodes all over the Terran's faces. And that had to feel a bit satisfying there for the Zergs. Widowmine's a double-edged grenade, so just a grenade, but no Widowmines to help Dark here as the Marines stand their ground, and that was without an upgrade advantage. Without any Banelings, the Marines are more than enough to gun down those Zerglings, and Bunny opens up a 30 supply lead yet again. It's a little misleading because with Lings and Banes, obviously they don't take a lot of supply, 2 apiece. Lurker Den's on the way, but Bunny has maxed out despite skirmishing across the map well before 10 minutes, 3-3 on the way, 78 SCVs. He's got a full level of production. Bunny's macro is absolutely ridiculous right now, and he's going to continue to put the pressure across the map. Hive is completed. 2-2 is finishing up. Dark is desperately trying to buy time. His creep has been pushed back to the 4th base to the south. And +2 melee and ground carapace now completed as we have some really crazy graphical effects, which is a nice way to put it over here on the map. Oh my. Flickering just like the chances of Dark actually crushing this bush, but here comes some more Hydras. And the Banshee's finally taken down the medevacs. 2 of them in the red, but are able to escape for now. And we hope we don't fight at that corner of the map again for a while. 89 drones. Nanomuscular swell. Hydra lunge on the way. More Banelings gunned down. No other Hive tech. I have no idea what's going on with that. That's crazy. The Widowmine still an existential threat to both sides. Trying to drag them into the medevacs without the Hydra dash. Unlikely that Dark is going to be able to turn this around, but so far, Bunny's still taking very cost-effective trades across the map. So far, he's lost 2,000 less resources He doesn't even have ghosts on the way. More drones. Vulnerable. Running away from the medevacs. One is taken down. Couple drones as well. Meanwhile, Bunny trying to catch the army out in the field. The Banelings will retarget, but Marauders in front dashes forward. Widow Mines will backstop, though. Now Ghosts in production. Liberators as well. He knows we're working our way to the late game, and the fact he's building Ghosts and Liberators before Dark even has a single Lurker, he's now building 5 of them, but there's 5 Ghosts in production simultaneously. What a spooky composition out of Bunny, and his Bio Ball is tearing through everything else. Dashes forward, tries to get a hold of the medevacs, but that just brings him closer to the drugs and the guns of the Terrans. Meanwhile, Lurkers are finally complete, and that means Bunny will finally be driven back from the base to the south. What a brawl. Fusion Core has begun, as players more and more acknowledging the value of Caduceus Reactor, as well as advanced ballistics, of course. The checkerboard depots to help funnel. Well, nobody's building Ultralisk. Targets the Bane, but Bunny doing so well on the field. He just finished 3-3, lines up the shots, guns down the Hydras, and the field runs red with the blood of mostly Zerg. Adrenal Glands was quite significantly delayed. The Lurkers will burrow in the midst of the Widow Mine. Bit of an awkward scenario there. That Bunny is maxed out, and he's smoothly transitioning into the late game composition. Dark has been on the back foot throughout all this. He has 72 Zerglings, dozens of Banes, but the Lurkers, the overlapping Venn diagram of freedom, will force them back, and the range isn't enough to make the difference. Advanced ballistics on the way for more of the same here from Bunny. With those Liberators to zone out, the Zerglings trickle through the depots. Finally, we'll find a more reliable target. But honestly, the Ghosts, not bad against the Zerglings on their own. Lining up some shots. Loses a few Ghosts, but the Lurkers will be whittled down. Sporecrawler moving forward. Planetary Fortress backstopping. Dark actually rallying through the Planetary. Bunny forced to retreat. Liberators hit by a Spore Crawler. There's still enough bile to the south side. Zerglings in the natural, though. Zerglings in the third. Hydra's helping out as well. More SCVs will go down, and Dark is holding the southern flank while still getting damage done with a counterattack. Bunny is doing a very good job of keeping up on both sides despite Dark's constant multitasking. But he hasn't made much progress lately. He hasn't been able to break through. Dark is re-expanding. He's still got 82 SCVs, and he's working on those 3-3 upgrades. Dark trying to force the army back while he buys time for those attack upgrades. Both, well, actually, no. He's going for +3 melee attack and +3 carapace. Has +1 ranged for the Hydras. But honestly, it's more about how many Lurkers you have and where they are, rather than how good those upgrades are. The Zerglings will burrow. I don't know if Bunny noticed or cares, but he's now working on the building armor as well as high-sec auto-tracking turret range upgrade. Zerglings burrowed throughout the map, and Bunny actually taking some time to clear them out here. How many orbital commands? 4 more Overseers yet. Not a roguelike build quite yet, but we're working our way there. That'll bring him to 7. Yeah, that's definitely not the critical mass of oversight that we've seen some Zerg play. Okay, it's Rogue. Rogue is the Zerg player. At this point, you just want to make sure that the Ghosts aren't able to cloak and have free reign over the field. Nidus Network is on the way, but Bunny is solidifying his position. He's kind of taking the pressure off, though, so Dark still has an opportunity to turn it around. But so far, Bunny has been remarkably efficient. He's kept his supply high, and he's built the endgame unit composition. 11 Ghosts. He has 13 medevacs, which is actually quite a bit high. Meanwhile, gets a hatchery over to the left flank. 9 o'clock hatch is down, but Dark still has a couple in the center. Another Liberator Ghost push. A single Viper in production, lining up some more shots. Some of the Ghost shots will go off, the rest interrupted. And really trying to land those Ghost hits. And if he gets enough of them, the rest become even easier. But Dark with another huge counterattack. The Liberator dashing forward with the Hydras. Tries to knock out, actually gets a couple medevacs out of the sky. Fully loaded. And Bunny plummets over 20 supply with those medevacs being taken down. The counterattack also serving the purpose of intercepting the reinforcements. And suddenly Dark is up 40 supply and Bunny can't remax out. Bunny was doing a great job of keeping Dark pinned back. But Dark is not one to be contained for long. And the moment he was able to drag the army back over to their own side of the map, Dark seems to have grabbed the rest of it. He's now sitting on 7 bases, dashing forward, knocks out another Liberator, orbital burning, Banelings rolling, and the Bio Army, no! The Marines out in front! And now, straight into the unit's lost tab. 2 Infestors on the way, as Dark has recaptured near full control of this game. I would argue, actually, for the first time, capturing control. As up until the last minute or so, Bunny seemed to have a solid grasp of it. But now a Nidus at the back, he's sniping Banelings, attempting to take that bottom right corner base, which will be challenged by Dark as well. The Nidus isn't gonna go down quite quickly enough. What? There's like 3 Zerglings, which is enough to be a staging area for yet another Nidus. More Banelings. I think he actually hit some of the Zerglings there with the rapid fire snipes. But this Nidus is not gonna be taken out. And wait a second, it's only gonna get worse. The Lurkers are popping out. Is there any detection here? Dark just slicing through. The 3rd base is gone. Bunny counterattacking to the south side. The 6 o'clock base will be the target again, but a half dozen Widow Mines melted by the Banelings. Lurkers are cutting their way through the main. The Ghost Academy is about to be eviscerated. The Hydras are cutting off reinforcements. Bunny's still trying to move forward, but he's not going to have anywhere to take steps back to. And just like that, Dark is up 60 supply. He took out so many orbitals and so many supply depots that Bunny can't even build if he had the money and if he had the production. But a full dismantling of the Terran. Dark just has to beat the last army here out of Bunny. He just has to beat these ghosts, and oh no, the Fungals! The EMPs aren't enough! The Banelings roll in! The Infestor is taken out! And while the army might still be dangerous, there's just not remotely close to enough of it. Dark has completely turned this game around, and Bunny is unable to hop across the finish line. Dark. He's done it again. You cannot let him have any space. I think Bunny was confident. He's like, well, I'm building Ghosts and Liberators. I'm building the right arm. Okay, at this stage of the game, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I've got the good Terran units that they all complain about in the YouTube comments constantly. Okay, now what he neglected to realize was he did not wake up his Clem. So, therefore, struggled to cross that finish line. And Dark is more than happy to sweep the leg and slice him in twain with the Lurkers. Dark turns game 1 and is on match point. Very well, technically. It's not as dramatic in a best of 3, but still. That's right. We got to make it, emotional investment. Okay, if Dark doesn't win this game, that means we'll have another game after it. But if he does win this game, then we won't. And that was your dramatic explanation of how basic competition works. But if there's a draw, which is not a 0 chance, it's just very close to it, well, then it'll probably be because Bunny floated his buildings to the corner and killed all the anti-air. And then we'll play the game on the same map again. That's how we handle that scenario. And we shame the Terrans for being cowards. But we can do that anyways. Don't worry. Okay, I know you might have been worried for a moment, but don't worry. Where did it go wrong for Bunny? Well, he let Dark get aggressive. He was doing a great job of keeping that pressure. But Dark seemed to put just enough into the counterattacks. I think there was some real foreshadowing at the very beginning of the game. Remember, instead of getting his 3rd base quicker and like using the Zerglings to zone out the Reaper, he counterattacked with them. So he decided making your life difficult is more important than making mine easier, which is quite a decision to make, but a calculated one. if somewhat spiteful. Dark with 3 hatch before gas here on El Dorado. Goes straight through the mineral wall. And it's interesting Zergs are so regularly expanding. Well, one, you can't let Terrans get this location. You cannot. If you don't take this base, they will do a siege tank push that you literally cannot deal with. Like, siege tanks in this sort of scenario with medevacs, there's a wide array of options to exploit this sort of setup. And if you don't take that base and preempt it, you're just asking for it, effectively. Two command centers. I was very impressed by how much Bunny was able to put on the field. Like, maxing out at like 8 minutes. Maybe 8.5, while still fighting. Like, in a theoretical perfect scenario, you could max out at like 8 minutes as Terran. But that's with everything going into production and economy, not having Zerglings in your base, not doing run-bys, not doing constant medevac pressure. It's all those things at once. So, extra impressive from Bunny. But there is this sort of intangible factor that comes with playing so many thousands of tournament games. As well as some players just don't have it. Okay, what is it? Impossible to define. But the closest thing would be killer instinct. The ability to recognize an opportunity. Which, not even necessarily because of some, like, it's not something you could be like, well, because of X, Y, and Z. No, it's just a feeling. Like, that counterattack from Dark with Hydras and Lings shouldn't have been something that dragged Bunny back across the map. It wasn't that scary. But it kind of lulled Bunny into this feeling of, you know, okay, he's so desperate, he's counterattacking, so I guess I'll just run right by here. It's those sort of mind games that make the difference between great and even greater players. That was profound, right? Please clap and subscribe. Where are you going with that? I'm not saying he's a gold digger, but he is going straight for the back door of the gold base. I am highly amused. This may be the first map in recent StarCraft 2 history where players actually take the back side of the base, like a mineral-only base, effectively. I know this is something that's much more common in Brood War. There is a gas geyser on the other side, but players have decided we play on the south side of the map. Like, at least half the time. Wow, that is a lot of Hellions. All right. Oh. And he's going to try to shark around. Brenda, is it getting hot in here, or is it just me? It's just you, Susan. All right. It's just you. It's usually just you, to be honest. Liberator. Annexing most of the natural. A Queen finally sneaks around. I like how Dark is still modding from a few of the patches. The Zerglings will scout the base. He doesn't even have Zergling speed on the way. Just slowlings here. There was a Roach Warren in production. It has to be finished now. Lair is done as well. Oh yeah, well. 3 Roaches on the opposite side of the gold. Just denying some money, but a siege tank will easily drive them away. Liberators do technically have an anti-air attack, which the Overlords are surely not happy about. Does he have a transfuse? Anyone? It's too late. Wow, it takes so many hits. More barracks on the way. Dark going to be taking the back side of the gold as well. You can pretty much mine all of the gold patches relatively efficiently, no matter which side you decide to expand to. But obviously the gas geyser. Wait. No. Mineral. All the speed upgrades on the way for Dark. Zergling and Roach. Does he have a Bane? Does he have any other tech? No. Adding a few more drones in, but would not be surprised to see a massive roach spell. In this position, Bunny needs as much as he can get. Maybe some bunkers. This is actually a really tough position to defend against the massive roaches. Rarely do players just directly expand, really sticking your neck out here. We'll see. There are 3 siege tanks, but if Dark puts his mind, and more importantly his roaches to it, what is happening down here? Ah, yes. SCV diplomatic mission. Unfortunately, the Zerg not in a diplomatic mood. Liberator going to be intercepted. The Overlords, they're in the brunt of it. Terran! What? Hello? It's your turn! Liberator will survive somehow. But here comes Dark. 184 supply. First wave of corrosive bow knocks out 1 siege tank. There are 3 more behind it. Double drop gonna knock out one of the hatcheries to the north. But Bunny desperately needs this base to actually have an economy. And Dark is crushing the army. 164. He actually knocks out the orbital command with machine gun corrosive biles. And the Queens are holding the line against the Marines. 1-1 is done. More corrosive bile coming through. And Dark has double the supply. Bunny right now, well, I did predict maybe some floating to the corner. The Liberator, well, the bio army still. Finally, the Liberator goes down. 21 SCVs dead. He's actually able to take out several of the Ravagers. Gets almost every single one of them with the Marines and Marauders. So that might be enough to inspire Bunny to fight a bit longer. But Dark has 69 drones, which is a very nice economy considering Bunny's down at 2 command centers and 42 SCVs. And, well, that answers a lot of questions, but not the one of how are you going to afford to continually contest Dark on the field. He's got to hope that he attacks up a ramp into siege tanks, but Dark is filling in the rest of the tech now. He's got the infestation pit on the way. He's got a baneling nest as well. The Hydra Den is probably just around the corner, but at this point, if he wanted to go swarm hosts, or even Mutas, it would be on the table. Bunny with a fake medevac drop. I like it. Working with what he has, and what he has are medevacs and not enough units to put in them. There's no way to know it's a fake. So, joins up with the rest of the army. 127 to 71 army supply. Dark is maxed yet again. The tank's out on the field. Now he's going to get absolutely crushed. The tanks miss the corrosive bile, but there's not remotely close to enough. Double GG. Dark will take the 2-0 victory, which brings us into our bonus series, an epic series I have for you. Dark versus Epic, who is arguably the best Terran player from the United States of America. So, fun fact. Playing, I believe, in the same tournament, though not 100%. They've had some crazy games in the past. Epic, a big battlecruiser fan, and who isn't? But we've got some more Zerg versus Terran, the final boss, working his way through. Bunny, very optimistic to take a base like that against Dark, who had all the economy he needed to spam roaches. Like Stefano of old. Oh, we're all old now. But in the top right is Epic from the United States of America. And on the Team Storm Gaming, we got Dark, who's on Team Talon and is not from the United States of America. Much to our dismay, but this might be his NA account. It doesn't have the clan tag. Expanding on the low ground. And Bunny, a good game when he's able to get his economy up, but I think Dark had enough and said, let's get this done early. As Bunny came dangerously close to breaking him in a more macro-oriented play. We'll see if Epic can draw the score. He has beaten Dark before, but with some particularly spicy build orders. It's always a danger. Sometimes Dark gets so crazy, it rolls back around into being dumb again. Though, obviously not very common. I don't think Dark did the new, quote-unquote, new 15-15 opener. That's more of a Zerg versus Protoss timing. Though with the hatchery now costing a little bit less, and the Queen's costing a little bit more, 25 minerals on either side, there's a new suite of build orders. So doing extractor tricks makes a little more sense now, as relying on hatcheries for early larvae is significantly more common. Really, I mean... the tax on queens, the extra 25, is not preventing players from making as many queens, but it does limit the drone count, so you're seeing players be significantly more particular about it. Queen comes out, slaps in an inject. Not really a slap, but let's not get gross about it. 2 command centers on the way, because of course. Dark does manage to get his 3rd base before the Reaper comes across and makes life difficult. Zerglings taking down the rocks, which are just annoying. So these are here because back in yesteryear, players would build either 2 bunkers or 3 pylons at the bottom of the ramp and make it inordinately difficult to actually break out. And we've all agreed that that was a BS and BS. So that is why those unbuildable plates are there. Of course, you can take them down later. And a lot of players will do so. 1, so they can potentially build there, and 2, because it's annoying. And they can. Those Reapers murder, or the Zerglings murder the Reaper out on the field. Quite cathartic. Epic overstayed his welcome by a bit. Banshee on the way. Hellions getting their roast on. Just kind of chilling back at home. I wonder if Epic will try a more Gumiho-esque mech play. No indicators yet. If he takes another gas soon, it will be certainly... it almost is certain to be mech. But there's the stim pack upgrade. Disappointed. Couple Hellions. Sneaking. Light up a couple drones, but Dark has plenty of Zerglings as well as Queens on patrol. Two more racks on the way. Takes out a creep tumor, but Dark slaps down 2 more in order to make sure that it keeps going. And another macro game on our hands, but Dark is already up to 50-something drones. Well, he had it, and then he built a Bane Nest and 3 Spore Crawlers and 2 Extractors, which does eat into the drone count a bit. Epic at 41 LCVs and counting, 3 at a time now. No cloak on the Banshee. Which means easily driven away by the Queens. Even if you don't think there's cloak on the Banshee, you can't really risk it. If you do not have Spore Crawlers in time and they do go for cloak, you can just outright lose the game. So the Spore Crawlers are kind of necessary, even if it's just a casual Banshee, like we see here. The Banshee existing is a way to kill drones by forcing Spore Crawlers in general. Even though much of the time it's something players will usually do. Much of the time something its players usually will do. Can we get another of the sentences that don't really mean anything but fill plenty of time? Thank you to our sponsors. You. For liking and subscribing. Infestation pit on the way. Infestation pit on the way. There was the correct tone. 6 minutes in. Speed running the hive. Unless this is the most weirdest Swarm host play I've seen this week. And I've seen several Swarm host plays this week. I seriously doubt it, though. Epic unable to really get much done with his early Hellions and Banshee, but he also hasn't really put much effort into it either. Focused on building up, actually going for the Octo-Rex timing, whereas Dark, 3 hatcheries, a hive, he's got 75 drones. And this may be one of the few times you can actually make ultras. He's up against mass barracks. Epic, I think, has stopped building SCVs. He's looking for the 60 to 65 SCV, like 3 base economy, on 8 barracks Marine, with as many tanks as he can throw into the mix. Aliens trying to take out some of the Banelings. So far, not really finding a lot of success. Well, he takes out the Banelings one way or another. Not exactly the ideal methodology, but here we are. Rocks will be taken down as well. Armory's on the way. 12 Marines at a time. Epic will be pumping out so many units. And if Dark isn't careful, he could easily get overrun by the sheer amount of Terran that's going to be on the field. That hive is about to... 7.5 minute hive. Jeez. Probably just about the quickest hive you can get, well, acknowledging that you need to build units and tech. And clearly he has enough here. The tanks are sieged up, but they're already on the creep. Get a single volley. The Lings and Banes close the distance, and Epic has more reinforcements. He's actually just going straight onto the creep, not even scanning here, pre-splitting. And the Lings, well, there's an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Epic will trade, heads up. And trades are actually pretty good for this sort of Terran composition. As, if at one point you eventually win, he's going to keep having the medevacs. There is no anti-air with this. The Queens are coming around. The Ultralisk Cavern is halfway completed. But it's a long time till Daddy comes home. And you really do need the chitinous plating. Maybe not ultra speed, but chitinous plating is quite necessary, even against Marines. Zerglings sneaking around to the north side. Has to be a that's actually almost a full wall. Well, besides a very key point, but the Zergling counter is massive. And the third base is just gutted. Epic trying. He's not he doesn't want to make the mistake that Bunny did, which is completely giving up any sort of control of the map. And right now he does manage to keep a bunch of Marines out on the front side, but Dark has a chitinous plating on the way. I don't think Epic even knows about the hive. In fact, he hasn't even seen the main base the entire game. And when he's in the dark, Dark can certainly hurt you. I'm sure he'll be very aware of the Ultras when they come out. The army is 62 Marines, 2 tanks, 10 medevacs, and 2 Banshees. A single Hero Lisk is in production, as Epic tries to make some progress. +2 weapons about to complete. +2 armor a little further behind, and Dark's upgrade's only a few seconds behind that. Another Zergling counter. No adrenal glands yet. The Banshee's back at home to defend. You can tell Epic really tried to make progress forward, but he keeps getting dragged back by the counters. And the Ultralisks are completing. There's a real timer on this. And little does Epic know it's about to run out. He's kept a lot of pressure on. It's only 10 minutes in, but he sees an Ultra. Oh, no. Chitinous plating isn't done. Adrenal glands now completing. The Zerglings get into the natural. But with just 2 or 3 Ultras, that is an existential threat to this army. The Zerglings back at home. Epic is now down 40 supply. There are 138 Zerglings on the map. As you hear them running by, Epic caught in the middle, just unable to get anywhere. He can't go home. He can't go forward. He's in purgatory right now, but Dark is going to let him escape it. Just maybe not in the way he wanted. The main base, the natural, the third. Epic's still pretending like he's going to do a forward push. He's down to 24 SCVs. Dark has ripped him apart. And just the token force at the front still pretending like it's going to make a difference. But dark! The Ultras were mostly there for dramatic effect. The Zerglings get the job done. 200 Zerglings lost. Another 100 and something on the field. Let alone any Banelings. Epic actually has similar army supply. There is a small, yet real dream that he somehow pushes through. But another stream of Zerglings just washes over the third base. The Ultras eating some hits from the Liberators. The Orbital was killed. There's a Planetary, but Epic and the Queen supporting the Ultras on the back line and supporting themselves against the Liberators. Dark actually kind of struggling to break through this, as the Liberator's doing a lot of damage. Epic focused everything on this fight, and this is all that's left. Kiting back. The tanks putting big hits on the Ultras, but here comes the rest, as Dark surrounds, crushes everything on the ground. Epic picks up into the medevacs, but he can't escape to the next map, as he gets shredded by Dark. A decisive victory. So many. Honestly, I don't even think the Ultras were necessary, but they were enjoyable. That could have all been done with Lings and Banes, but the Ultras making sure to put a punctuation mark on the end. And that brings us back to El Dorado, with Dark yet again on match point. Good luck. Epic says nothing. Though more than likely Epic said good luck, have fun either in the lobby or in the countdown screen, which does not show up in this format, but we could just say he's a salty Terran. That also works. Yeah, the Zergling, you can't let him go. You can't let the Zerg go. We've seen the trend throughout both series is do not let Dark do his bit. Whatever it is, whatever you can do to interrupt it is important. The closest either Terran has been to stopping Dark was Bunny in Game 1. Keeping the pressure on right up until those Zergling counterattacks. I'm gonna take the mineral wall down. Already rallying the drones. Epic with... And this SCV's... Wait, is he going for the mineral wall or just a straight up scout? Huh. Wants to make sure the Reaper doesn't get halfway across the map and then the Zerglings end up in his natural. That is pretty much the explicit purpose of that SCV. Don't want any sort of little Zergling counters ruining his day. Big Zergling counters are unavoidable, but little ones you probably can prepare for. I know. Yes. Bring some friends. Not the Baneling. Reaper here to make the workplace environment for the drones very difficult. Oh. Flirting with the high ground here. He knows. They both know. The Reaper should not die here. But sometimes it will. Get a little greedy, slip a little too far forward, and those Zerglings get their claws on you. It's rare, but it happens far more than none of the time. It's another way of saying a very simple thing in the most complicated way possible. Sometimes I say a lot of words in order to accomplish what few words may accomplish. But that begs the eternal philosophical question of why say many words when few words do trick? 3 queens at a time, 0 gas geysers at a time. Dark is going for the full eco build yet again. Second gas for Epic. Starport on the way. And third command center is almost completed. Roachhorn in production. Well, Epic decides on a fusion core, a battle cruiser rush. So that is certainly a strong option. Is it a good one? We're going to find out. But against Dark, you want to do something different. And a battle cruiser rush certainly mixes things up a bit. Going to be almost impossible for Dark to scout unless he gets Overlord speed, which is very unlikely this early. The response, well, against a well-timed battlecruiser rush, it is almost impossible to hold efficiently if you're not already going Spire. Here's the thing, though. There's a wide window of vulnerability before the battlecruiser really starts getting damage done. So there's a severe risk that Epic can get caught off guard by a roach counterattack or something along those lines. There's already 3 roaches in production. The battlecruiser begins as well. The queen count is up to 5. They're not growing at all at the moment. Creep spread metastasizing. Barracks on the way behind as well. So battlecruiser into bio. Interesting choice. A lot easier to get to the Marines behind, but that means he's not going to be relying on mass battlecruiser, but instead maybe 1 or 2. Hellions trying to soften things up, and honestly 3 roaches not that scary. That many Hellions, definitely a lot scarier to the drone. Oh, so incinerates a full lot of them. At the drones, looking for the citizen's arrest. 8 kills, 11. Which... So Dark got in, saw an odd set here. I think he lost the Overlord, so... If he looks back and he thinks it's mech, it would be quite surprising. But he noticed the factory at a very odd timing. Now the roaches are on their way across the map, and now there's nothing at all to scout them. The battlecruiser is done. Will it jump? Or does he sit back? The mineral wall has not been taken down. Oh. Well, he doesn't... The battlecruiser is close enough. So 1, he can zone out the roaches. And 2, this way he can jump out. Is this more worth it? I don't know. The battlecruiser seems like the most... This isn't the Pentagon, all right? This is a ridiculously disproportionate solution to literally roaches. So far, Epic with the least epic battlecruiser rush. He's using it like a glorified Banshee. Well, not even that glorified, just a worse Banshee because I can't move nearly as fast. Well, the battlecruiser has 2 kills, but the roaches somehow slipped by. Not in love with the decision-making here on the battlecruiser micro out of Epic, as his flying laser bathtub is... Well, if you wanted a Banshee, you could have built a Banshee. But instead, here we are. Dark is putting so little respect on this. He built a Hydra den and then didn't even bother with the Hydras. There we go, 5 Hydras on the way. But I think he's correctly recognized that it's just the 1. So, 1 battlecruiser is... It's like a display piece at this stage. Its existence has kept Dark at bay, but he has not been idle. He's adding on a 2nd gold base. He's already mining from 1. The Queens, politely yet firmly asking the battlecruiser to leave as Dark secures more and more of the southern portion of the map. And we're getting to the point where he may just mine through this mineral wall himself. Battlecruiser jumps into the back of the main. Committing to the jump. Might be able to take down the Spore Crawler as well. But by the time he does, and here come the Marines and Marauders. Surrounded by both Queens and Hive. This is quite a dangerous location. Somehow threads the needle of anti-air. But you can't tactical jump medevacs this patch, so... He's gonna boost into the main. The Hive is done. Only marginally later than last game as the Battlecruiser continues its under... This is not going well. Unfortunately, Epic's inspired opener has been driven headlong into the reality of Dark. And it looks like there may be no survivors. He can come through the center. Some of the mineral wall has been. And deep onto the creep here. Dark is just going to jump the tanks. Gets one. Ready to intercept the reinforcements as well. Epic gets the hatchery. He does have siege tanks. He still has the battlecruiser. Are there any Vipers? Yes, there are 2 Vipers. Battlecruiser, medevacs. 1 survives, 2 survive. Epic has enough army supply to be dangerous. Siege tank not quite in position. Reinforcements battling it out as well. It's just not quite the critical mass he needs. 13 more Hydras on the way. Hydra Slurch as well. A battlecruiser badly bruised. Sieges up a tank on the other side of the mineral wall. That should be taken out pretty easily. Oh no, the battlecruiser! Don't get so close! If you don't... Oh no. Oh, he gets away. What a cinematic move. But Dark just has far too much now. He has... What is this? 32 Hydras and 40-something Hydras. And full energy Vipers. Epic still has a solid army supply. Just Hydra. Lurches forward. Battlecruiser's back. Does not have Yamato cannon. Blinding Cloud, lurches forward. And running through the blinding clouds. It's not going well for the American Terran. But Dark, on the other hand, is having an absolute field day. Crushes everything on the ground, even lurching some of the extras. GG! Epic crushed on the field. Just outmatched this time around. We see Dark's disrespectful response to the Banshee Cruiser. Absolutely ripping apart the Terrans on the field in both games. Quite a display today. The difference between a top 5 player like Dark and a top 20 or 30 player like Bunny and Epic. Quite dramatic. And I think demonstrated with to great effect here. But hopefully still enjoyable. Especially for those still reeling from those Cyril versus Clem games. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made your day a little bit better. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free. At least for now. So, I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Use your battlecruisers better. Stay chill.